When a woman gets little strong, she will always experience like this. She is troubled, she must be beaten, she must be burnt at the stake. All this happened because she exhibited certain strength and it comes out in a certain way. So normally the term that is used in English, she literally bites your head off. So those ladies, the Indian goddesses, literally bite your head off, not metaphorically.
I'm very interested and curious if one, your thoughts on extraterrestrial life, and if you've been in contact with any.
Or maybe you are one, who knows?
Yeah. Maybe that is a better question.
Sadhguru, I'm curious what your perception of the masculine and the feminine energies on the planet. From my perspective, it seems like the masculine and the feminine is out of balance, not only through the collective, but also with us as individuals. And I'm curious about your perspective of this.
Yes, unfortunately, the so-called modern civilizations have tried their best to obliterate the feminine. They cannot obliterate, so it's shrunk. When I say obliterate the feminine, if we have to put this into a very simplistic understanding, it's a complex process because it manifests in a million different ways. If we have to make it very simplistic, everybody wants to expand and enhance their lives. If you have to enhance your life, if you look at life from a physical perspective, you must have that. It may be an object, it may be a mountain, it may be a human being. I want that. This is enhancement. Something that's not mine, I want to make it mine. There are two ways to do this, either by conquest or by inclusion. So, inclusion comes from the dimension of feminine. Conquest is very masculine. We can use this context to look at everything. There are many other more beautiful ways to look at it. Day after tomorrow, the Navaratri starts in India, 9 nights. It's completely dedicated to the feminine. It's a big festival across the country, so much cultural events and things, even in our yoga center, 9 days of celebrations. This time, people are not allowed, it's all online, but celebrations, music, dance, everything is happening. This is a time, whether you're a man or a woman, you do all the feminine things. Men will go out and make designs on the floor, they will sing, they will dance, they will make music, because the idea is, this time is coming after this autumn equinox, this is the time of the feminine. So it is celebrated in a big way, 9 days, there are 9 different types of goddesses. Fierce ones, terrible ones, beautiful ones, compassionate ones, very strong ones, all kinds. So if you look at many goddesses in India, this is something we must… which is completely missing anywhere else in the world, is many of our goddesses are like Rakini, Dakini, Lankini, Chandi, Chamundi, Chinnamasta, Kali, like this, if you look at them, they are fierce, blood dripping out of their mouths and, human skulls hanging around their neck and all that kind of imagery. Why this is done is because a whole lot of times, right through history of humanity, when a woman gets little strong, she will always experience like this. She is troubled, she must be beaten, she must be burnt at the stake. All this happened because she exhibited certain strength and it comes out in a certain way. So normally the term that is used in English, she literally bites your head off. So those ladies, the Indian goddesses, literally bite your head off, not metaphorically. But they're worshipped. Because the understanding is this, that what human competence is, what human intelligence is, what human genius is, need not be surrendered at the altar of good behavior. Good behavior, you can train your puppy for good behavior. The important thing about the human being in this limited amount of time and energy that we have, the highest possible genius should find expression. How it finds expression, we don't know. But that is more important than good behavior. This is why these goddesses are worshipped, they are not good behavior for sure. But they have a certain power, they have a certain genius, they have a certain capability. So you never surrender those things which will transform life for good behavior, which is just a pretension. This is not a license for you to behave whichever way you want.
Wear a bunch of my French skulls around my neck because I bit their head off. Is that okay? So, acknowledging the suppression of the feminine and how the Indian culture, which I absolutely love, thank you for sharing that, has a time where it's honoring the feminine through the creativity and the intuition and the playfulness. I'm curious, in our everyday lives, the feminine runs within men and within women, this isn't just select to women. How can we support and activate the feminine within us as individuals to support the rebalance of the planet?
See, feminine should not be mistaken as female. Female is a gender issue. Male, female is a gender issue. Feminine, masculine is the nature of the universe, the nature of creation is between two polarities of masculine and feminine. So, do not identify feminine with just women. Do not identify feminine or masculine with just human beings. It is everywhere. It is for you to recognize between these two polarities creation happens. Physicality cannot happen without polarities. Anything physical needs a polarity, light and darkness, silence and sound. Even if you take electricity which we are using right now, positive, negative, otherwise there's no function, all right? So, it needs to be looked at in a broader way. If you're just thinking of this as, oh, okay, women can do this, women can do this, it's not about women. Feminine is not about man or woman. It is about the nature of life. If you have them in equal proportions, people will live a more balanced and fruitful life. Otherwise, they will live a very skewed life. Right now it's becoming like that because largely the structures of the society and the financial mechanisms and whatever else in the society which rules today's world is all created to fit a male into it, which is largely masculine. Now women want to be successful, so they're acting more masculine than men themselves. They are also like this. This is not the nature of the woman to do this at somebody, all right? But it's become like this. Now she wants to do all those very terribly masculine things. Well, the true loss to womanhood happens when we lose femininity, when we lose the value of feminine in the society. Unfortunately, some societies are moving in that direction. It's important to bring back that both these things are very, very valuable. Without it, we cannot be born, we cannot be nourished, we cannot be anything here.
Yeah. Just switching gears just because of the limited time we have, after reading Mystic's Musings and hearing about your encounters with disembodied beings and, you know, things that sound like they're in a fairy tale, I'm very interested and curious if one, you know, your thoughts on extraterrestrial life and if you've been in contact with any.
Or maybe you are one, who knows?
Maybe that is a better question. Am I looking extraterrestrial? I'm little extra on the terror, right? Well, I have a reputation of being very logically correct, which is important in this world today, though it's quite silly and limiting. So I don't want to destroy that reputation on your show for myself, but if you want to explore such things, we have just now recently created what's called an exclusive, Sadhguru exclusive. This is to explore those dimensions which don't fit into your logic. Because right now, most human beings are being constipated by their own logic. Logic is a wonderful thing to survive, to understand the physical nature. Because for logic you need two, as we just said, it needs masculine, feminine, it's light, darkness. Two polarities are needed for logic, otherwise there's no logic. But there are dimensions which don't belong to these polarities. Those dimensions cannot be explored in a logical way. If you're really keen on these things, then you must come, we'll put you through the works. But if I logically answer this question, that will be very cosmetic. It doesn't really get to the heart of the matter. But I'm just telling you, you are a ghost with a body. So just for your information. The moment you lose your body, everybody thinks you're a ghost. All I did was, I gathered this material from the earth, took a loan from Mother Earth, I paid back my loan. So everybody says I'm a ghost, what to do? You pay back your bank loan, people say, this is a problem in the United States. People are telling me, Sadhguru, you have no credit… what is that?
Credit score.
Huh? I don't have any credit worthiness. I said, why? Said, you've never taken a loan. I said, isn't it a good thing I never taken a loan? They said, no, you're no good in America because you have no credit worthiness. So this is just like that. If you pay back the loan, you become a ghost. Now, I am a ghost in the financial circuits of America because I have no credit footprint anymore.
I think why we get along very well is because we have a similar desire on the spiritual path of self-realization, and if we are ghosts with a body, we want to come to know that experientially for ourselves. And so, yeah, I humbly ask, how can we come to know that? Is it a matter of raising our energies to a certain level to then experience that, or what would that be?
Yes, above all, see, as I said, what spirituality… the first question she asked, what spirituality means is, your experience of life is beyond your physiological and psychological processes. That means your experience, your ghostliness. We can call it your spirit, all right? We can call it your spirit, we can call it whatever you want, but there's just vocabulary. Essentially, you're experiencing something beyond your physical nature. That's the important thing. And anyway, this is some unsolicited advice I'm giving you. It's up to you what you do with that. You wearing rings on your thumbs is a very wrong thing to do. Metal on your thumb will bring that kind of energies to you that you cannot handle. You should not put metal on your thumbs.
And so when you say it brings energy to you…
That means maximum you can only wear 8 rings. Otherwise you can go the Indian way and add another 8 to the toes. There also you must leave the big one.
This is everything that Andre's actually told me. He's like, I learned from Sadhguru not to wear thumb rings, and I'm like, it's fine, but it hits slightly different when the man himself shares it with me. All right, well, with that being said, I'm just gonna take these off real quick. And…
Yeah, I'm making it less expensive for you.
Yeah. Thank you, Sadhguru.
2 rings less you have to buy.
I thought you had a very interesting question for people that are on the spiritual path that people just, with their families, is very difficult.
So, something I have witnessed within my own personal experience and simultaneously within my audience, specifically through Deja Blue, is a child choosing their spiritual path, which is not necessarily in alignment with the family ancestry or the morals of the family, and it creating a clash, and the child essentially being ostracized from the family because the child is…
Child means what? An infant or a toddler?
Like essentially the child of the parents. So I would still be a child of my parents, however I'm 30 years old.
Oh, you didn't have to confess like that. I was thinking you were 16.
You're 30.
So Almost 30.
I don't usually handle confessions, so it's all right.
You fit the part, truly.
So I'm just curious if you had advice or some guidance around…
See, as I said earlier, spiritual process is an exploration of new terrain. Now I'm your grandfather and I tell you, you must only explore what I have explored. The man is a nonsense, all right? Hello?
Yeah.
You must explore what I have explored. This is like everybody experimenting with sexuality. When the caveman also knew what to do, all right? Even Mr. Adam needed just a bite on the apple, that is simple. But you must experiment. What is there to experiment or explore? No, everybody knows what it is. So, exploration cannot be the way your grandfather did it, that's not exploration, that's a farce, all right? You just have to believe, that's the only way. This has happened because very dogmatic approach to to religions. So, it's extremely important that, and it'll anyway happen, in the next 50 years' time, it is important that the world moves from religion to responsibility. For all the problems that we are creating on the planet, the only solution, including for the pandemic, is responsible action, isn't it? Right now, responsibility is there. No, responsibility needs to come here. If this happens, all these problems are gone. And anyway, from whatever 1 or 2,000 years old, people have been always modifying it the way they like it. Most religions say no divorce. Well, people are divorcing right, left, center, all right. Many other things. Whatever was said, thou shalt not, is a full-time transaction right now on various levels. So, I'm not trying to criticize somebody or make fun of something, but I'm saying it's natural evolution of human civilization that we will move from religion to responsibility. That means we understand the only piece of creation that we can experience right now is this. And the only doorway to the Creator is this. There is no other doorway anywhere. Even if it's there, you cannot experience it, I'm saying. Maybe there is a doorway in this little desert flower, but you cannot experience it, right? You can only experience what happens within you. So don't try to condition and control what happens within me. What I do in the society needs some control because others are involved. What happens within me, don't ever try to control and condition this because it's nobody's concern what happens within me. When I say what happens within me, I'm not just talking about physiological and psychological stuff. I'm saying what happens within me means beyond what I have accumulated in the form of body and mind, what happens within me must be totally it's the only doorway I have. If I have to open anything, it has to open up in my experience. Is there some other way? There is simply no other way. So what happens within me must be left untouched. That is the worst kind of contamination that can happen in a civilization, is people are concerned about what is happening within you. They should not be. How I behave in the world, yes, they should be because it concerns everybody else. What happens within me is nobody's business. What happens in my body may be somebody's business because if you do drugs, do this, that, and you fall sick, we will have to take care of you. It's happening, right? Taxpayers' money is going to take care of all kinds of people, drunkards, this, that, we have to take care of them. In that sense, we are concerned about what happens within your body, what happens in your mind. If you go crazy, tomorrow we'll have to take care of you, we can't just leave you on the street. So that is a concern. But what happens within me beyond that is nobody's concern because that's my space, nobody has any business to enter there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, for everybody that's listening at home, wherever they are, my question to create a takeaway from this interview…
No, this is not a takeaway shop. You just digest it, assimilate it, don't take away anything.
Become.
Because taking away is the worst thing. Because That is not the nature of life. I'm just reminding you because you're gathering all this, I don't know how many rings. All right, now I've reduced it by 2 at least. At the end of our lives, when we die, there is no takeaway. Let everybody understand this. There is no container service that you can gather everything and go. So this is the nature of life, that there is no takeaway. So let there be no takeaway from this also. Namaste.
To all of you beautiful bluebirds out there, thank you so much for tuning in and coming into this experience in the Mojave Desert with myself, Andre, and Sadhguru. What an honor, what a pleasure, and what a privilege. So grateful that you are here today on Deja Vu Podcast, and so grateful for you tuning in at home, wherever you are. May you feel seen and loved and supported and blessed in this world.